You won't always be happy. You won't always be at your best. Temptations will come. Insecurities will appear. That's no news to anyone. But a man 1,000 years ago discovered 10 truths that today I will reveal to you. And each one of these is a key to unlock a chain in your life.
Jerusalem was besieged by the Crusaders. The air smelled of fear and ash. The city moved like a sick person in bed, gasping. In the midst of the chaos, a man, the Copt, climbed to the center and spoke. He did not come to sweeten words or sing soft hymns. He spat truths like someone throwing stones at a fogged-up window. Routine, disconnection, sadness with the makeup of normality is consuming you. I don't blame you. School, family, and fucking society taught you to obey a script you didn't write. But listen, that emptiness is not eternal. There is a crack through which you can escape. Today, I will tell you, without romance, how those messages can tear off your invisible chains, how you can recognize the threads that control you, and how to take the first steps to reclaim what is yours. Are you ready for me to pull you out of bed and tell you how things are? Your mental state, routine, disconnection, and masked sadness. You are there, present, and at the same time, hollow. You do everything expected of you, and you wonder why your chest feels like a wet stone. You've repeated, "I'm fine," so many times that you no longer know if you believe it or if you are just pretending to convince others. That is the prison. Actions without a soul. In the story of the manuscript, we meet a young scribe, dutiful, obedient, neat with his ink, but with one thing burning inside him, a mute cry asking to breathe. His life was papers written for others. He never wrote himself. He watched freedom in others and wondered why his chest always felt full of ice. If you're reading this, you are that scribe. You hunger for meaning, and you are afraid of leaving the table set by others. The manuscript will be the tool that slaps you in the face until you react, question, break, look. And listen to this. If your life doesn't have the following pillar, you're not on the right path. But don't you maybe are on the
second problem, fear of truth. Awareness hurts. Recognizing that you live a script puts you before the abyss. Will you lose security, affection, routine? Yes. Will it hurt? Yes, but the lie weighs more. The manuscript does not promise you comfort, it offers you clarity. And here, irony strikes. The more you fear the truth, the more you chain yourself to the lie. The text shows kings who lost empires through pride and wise men who conquered peace by accepting uncertainty. History repeats, power does not reside in controlling everything, but in deciding with knowledge. The scribe learns that life is not about fulfilling others' expectations. It is acting according to your truth. You can do the same. First, internal resistance. You begin to move, you question routines, face fear, act with intention, and immediately voices appear. External, like, "What's wrong with you?" and internal, like, "What if you fail?" Society applauds obedience. It attacks dissidence. Miguel Ruiz experienced this with his own agreements. They attack you because your change makes them uncomfortable. Resistance is the alarm that you are advancing. It is not a sign to flee. It is proof that you are breaking the glass. Second big problem, the mind that invents monsters. While the world throws stones, your mind fabricates catastrophes, like, if I fail, I fall, I lose everything. That is the most perverse prison. You chain yourself with stories that are not real. Every assumption feeds sadness and paralysis, and that's why the next steps makes all the difference. Pay close attention. 3 tools to cut chains. Observe the mind. Watch thoughts pass like clouds. Do not identify with them. Question beliefs. Where do those inner orders come from, and do they still serve? Conscious action. Do what aligns with your truth, even if it scares you. Every conscious action removes a splinter from that imposed script. First great obstacle, the world's reaction. When you decide to grow, the environment acts like a wounded organism. It points at you, ridicules you, reminds you why it's better not to risk. The irony here is savage. People defend their comfort by attacking your freedom. The manuscript tells you a cold truth. Every look of disapproval is a mirror reflecting your movement. Move forward. Look closely. This is something that left me speechless when I first read it. Part 2. The final threat. The monster that tells you it makes no sense. The final voice that can bring you down whispers, you will always return to the same point. Nothing changes. The scribe faces it. He feels it every night. It is the illusion of permanent failure. It looks at you and shrinks you until you almost surrender. The manuscript unmasks it. That monster is the sum of your old doubts and assumptions. It is not real. It feels real until you look at it with clarity. The ordeal, the point where it hurts the most. Sleepless nights arrive, days of self-criticism, urges to flee. Every mistake seems eternal. It is there where the manuscript places the most dangerous and healing tool, observing the mind without judgment. Identify the voice that dramatically proclaims catastrophes and ask it, is this fact or fiction? What real evidence is there? What can I do now, calmly, to move forward? That simple method begins to deconstruct the illusion. Every small victory in clarity is a blow to the monster. And then, of all that, I tried it myself, and I discovered something shocking. The revelation. The treasure is not gold, it is freedom. After the ordeal, the truth waiting for you arrives. The treasure is not wealth or social power, it is something raw and real. Understanding yourself, acting with awareness, liberation from guilt and anxiety, inner strength to face everything. The scribe discovers that all the dark nights made sense. They prepared him to see life with new eyes. The irony is lethal. The more lost you thought you were, the closer you were to your freedom. What seemed like the end was only the prologue to something great. Stories that prove the point. Galileo, persecuted, never gave up looking at the sky. Gandhi, patient and firm, transformed history. Viktor Frankl, in the worst conditions, found a meaning that even prison couldn't take away. The lesson is the same. Inner transformation precedes external change. Practical exercises the manuscript brings. Do this now. Write your limiting beliefs. Name them without shame. Observe. When a negative thought appears, ask yourself if it is real or just fear. Act. One daily action that breaks an automatic pattern. Review. Each night, note one progress without judging, celebrating the crack you opened. Do it, and you will see how sadness loses its ferocity. And this one lesson, hidden in the manuscript, is worth more than years of experience. The scribe reaches a new way of being in the world, less prisoner of old agreements, more owner of his decisions, clearer, freer, with purpose. The same can be for you. Stop reacting out of habit and start deciding out of conviction. Before moving on, pause and do the following. Stop. Write this down. What is your greatest fear? What thought feeds it? Commit to observing it for a week and don't do it halfway. Look at it, name it, and act once a day to contradict it. Comment below your invisible monster. Subscribe if you haven't already. This journey is not for passive spectators. Closing. One last shake with care. We have come this far for a reason. What you feel, fear, sadness, emptiness, is not your destiny. It is a signal. With practice, awareness, and the teachings of the manuscript, you can transform your life. Every question you ask yourself, every conscious action, every night in which you decide not to feed on the old story brings you closer to the treasure, inner peace, and emotional freedom. I don't want you to remember me as another person telling you pretty things. I want you to remember me for having shaken you when you needed it, so that you start living for real. Your new life begins today. Do it for yourself.